Industrial-scale logging began in the 1950s when the Forest Service signed 50-year contracts with pulp mills in Ketchikan and Sitka. Over decades, logging harvested the most productive timberlands. That also happened to be the best fish and wildlife habitat. Both mills are now closed and logging levels have significantly declined. To understand the effects of logging on fish and wildlife, it is important to evaluate what kinds of habitat were being logged, not just how many acres. Although the Tongass is close to 17 million acres, only a small portion of it, about a third, is considered productive, economically valuable forest. The rest is a patchwork of scrub forest, alpine, rock, ice, and muskeg bogs. Big tree old-growth makes up only 3% of the Tongass land base. The ancient giants that many people visualize when they think of old-growth are even more rare. Over the last half-century of industrial forestry, logging targeted the big tree old-growth at lower elevations. This makes economic sense, as those trees were the most valuable for lumber and the easiest to reach. Unfortunately, these dynamic forests also represented some of the most valuable and productive fish and wildlife habitats. Historical logging targeted the most productive regions, like Prince of Wales Island, as well as the most productive watersheds. Audubon estimates that half or more of the big tree forest has been logged in southeast Alaska. Unfortunately, conservation reserves selected by Congress and the Forest Service have not focused on the most productive watersheds. Today, over 6 million acres, roughly one-third of the Tongass, have been congressionally protected, but by and large, these protected areas are made up of less productive forest lands and scenic areas of rock and ice. In general, the most biologically productive parts of the Tongass have been logged, and the less productive ones protected, with the notable exception of Admiralty Island. Although a substantial portion of the best forest habitat was logged in southeast Alaska, we still have an unprecedented opportunity on the Tongass to protect a diversity of habitats, including big tree forests. These are the kinds of forests that have disappeared from most of the world.